here, hiking group. Up at the top, it looks like there might have been an excursion out to a local
place.
yeah, it's a map of some kind. It's a map of some kind. And then I'm thinking they're bird watching or doing something down in the bottom right. One of the things that really amazed my wife when we got down here, when we were in our temporary housing for a short period of time, it was actually right off of Sawmill Creek Road. A lot of trees, a lot of wildlife back there, was the variety of birds. It's just amazing that the birds that we would see. And here's some folks connecting to the external community and even beyond. So, Arizona. That must have been in, I guess that was a good time of year to walk in Arizona because right now it's pretty darn hot. But look at that cactus there, that's pretty neat. So another hiking club going on out on excursions. And then some folks doing volunteer efforts connecting to the local community. So in this case, it looks like they're connecting with students at a local school. So that's pretty neat. Some mentors, some mentorship going on there. Has anyone ever seen those? Yeah, that's I guess the eyeglasses that are virtual eyeglasses is what they call them.
Virtual reality.
Yeah. So has anyone ever experienced that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah.
I think Trish has some of those at the care center.
Yeah, we use those in the care center from time to time. Does anyone have any of these at home? You have? Yeah, some.
Especially good for those with Parkinson's.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I heard there's a virtual golf game. Has anyone ever done that?
Do you win?
Possibly.
You could even set your own handicap.
Even better. Even better. And then here's some folks that are very passionate about their gifts and sharing their gifts with others. Painting and music. We do a lot of that here. Pianists, bringing local pianists in, national pianists, world-renowned pianists. Looks like there's a speakers group down there. Connecting through competition and camaraderie. So this was, I believe it was some type of V or maybe a senior game or something like that against other communities. So, look, woman in the top right, she's got like 8 gold medals. It's sort of holding her down a little bit. So, yeah, that's neat. Once again, competition, camaraderie, some games outside. Does this picture look familiar? Yeah. Some folks in there, right? So that was chair yoga, I believe. And over on the right, it looks like a balance class might have been taking place there. It looks like almost our picture was staged. Like everybody pose, we're gonna take a picture.
It kind of
It
was.
wasn't staged? Okay, very nice. And once again, some more competition through camaraderie, connecting with the stars. Looks like a lot of diversity there on the right-hand side. Some type of social gathering on the left. It might be in a care center. Somebody's birthday, possibly. And once again, connecting across the continuum. So in this case, a lot of volunteers might be going over to the care centers, creating some of these events for the residents that live in the care center. Oh, ukulele. Anybody play the ukulele? No? My last community, we had about 30 members, 30 residents that played the ukulele. They would travel all over the area. It was just amazing. Once again, some additional pictures about connections across the continuum. then outside the gates of the community, just in the greater communities, folks getting out and about. That would be pretty neat to see some of the pictures that you all have on your vacations, or your trips or excursions when you visit family. Somebody might have been visiting Hilton Head. Okay, so pretty exciting stuff. Anyways, we're gonna dive into dining. And first I'd like to talk about reservations. So a lot of you probably already know this, or may have read it in our handbook, but from time to time, it's always good to review it, particularly when we have new members come in, because they may not be fully up to speed with the reservation process. But I wanted to review just very quickly about our process, why we have it in place, why it's important, and how you can help support our dining team around that. So, it's pretty well known now that you call the concierge. I know the concierge knows that very well because they get inundated with the calls. For dining reservations, you can call up to 1 week in advance. You need to call by 4:30. Let them know the day you wanted to dine. And if you have a preferred dining time, you should probably make your reservations earlier, because if you're calling up to 4:30, chances are you might not be able to get in at that time. If it's a holiday event or gathering, you can make a reservation up to 2 weeks in advance. And as those reservations come in, we place them on the reservation sheet, first come, first served. So the reservation slots are anywhere between 5:30 and 7:15, and they're in 15-minute increments. And there's no strict ceiling on the number of reservations, or I'm sorry, there is a strict ceiling on the number of reservations for a specific time. As an example, 5:30, 5:45, 6 o'clock. There's only a block of reservations that we will put people into those slots. And the reason behind that is that so one, service is more smoother for you, and that as those orders are placed in the kitchen, it's spaced out within the kitchen. I happened to work up in the Philadelphia area with Marriott Hotels a few years ago, and when you work in a hotel around an airport, lots of times you get what they call distress flights. So, flight can't get out, so it's held for a couple hours, then people go to eat. So they might eat in the greater airport area, or they might go outside the airport. In our case, our hotel is connected right to the airport. So what was very common for us to get what I call a bull rush, a whole half of a flight, 100 people come in at one time, on any given day when there's snow or there's bad weather, and what that does to the whole operation, it just puts everything into a frenzy. So it's hard to take reservations, because of those situations. But when you have an opportunity to sort of control it, then that's the best way to do it, and that's the way that we like to do it here. So that's the reason behind it. We want to have a smooth running operation for you. We want to ensure that the kitchen isn't overwhelmed. They can get the food out in a timely manner, and it flows. So if you come in and don't have a reservation, there's a chance that, and you want to sit with a member, there's a chance that you might not be able to sit with that member if they're already sitting or the table's already full, or they're already in the process of dining. So they're halfway through the meal, so it's tough to bring you in and then start the service process all over again. So if you want to make a reservation, for guests, then follow the same process. For lunch, you don't necessarily need a reservation. You can generally just walk in. We do require reservations for Sunday brunch or those specific holiday events, just so we know. Really, it's about the number of people that are coming in those cases, because the chef needs to prepare for that. Now, from time to time, we get folks that might not have a reservation. So if you come down into the dining room and maybe you forgot, we're gonna get you fed. But chances are you might not be able to come in and be sat right at the moment. So I put that out there because from time to time, folks want to come in, come down, they might not have a reservation. They go up to the hostess stand, they don't have a reservation, and we're asking them to sit down, be patient. we'll get you seated as soon as possible, which we will do. But if they weave you in or that party into the mix, then it throws things a little out of whack. So that's why we ask just to have a little patience in the event that you don't have a reservation. And that doesn't happen a whole lot, but it does happen. It really does put our host or hostess and our servers in a predicament, so to speak, because they really want to take you in, they really want to serve you, because that's what we do here. We want to accommodate you the best that we can. But in the event that we're busy and there's no room, we're going to ask, please have a seat. We'll get you into the dining room as soon as possible. Okay, so just wanted to review because we've had a couple changes about dining times recently. We moved the continental breakfast from the Calabogie into the club room, so I just wanted to do a refresher around times. So our breakfast is 7:30 to 10:30 in the club room. It's complimentary, no reservations are required. We probably do about 20 folks, 20 members on a daily basis. If you haven't had a chance to visit, it's a lively group down there having a lot of fun, so feel free to join them. Lunch is 11:30 to 1:30, Monday through Saturday. If you do have a larger party, we would encourage a reservation so we can plan for that. And then dinner, 5:30 to 7:30, Monday through Saturday, reservations required. Call the concierge, and once again, you can schedule that reservation up to 1 week in advance for normal dinner periods or 2 weeks in advance for holidays. So, wanted to review the dress code if I could. I got a friend in the background. Not good timing. Anyway, so Magnolia Room, which is our formal dining room. Jackets are required. And for the ladies, dresses are casually elegant attire. So I said, what does that all mean? So I looked it up. I Googled it last night. I Googled it last night. And really, it's really a nice, could be a nice summer dress, with some nice shoes. They're saying that really ideally flip-flops are not elegant, casual, but it's just a nicer, casual attire for the formal dining room. If you have a question, I would encourage you to Google it. That's how I found out about it. And then for the Calabogie room, casual wear is acceptable, but it does not include jeans, bare feet, or colorless shirts. Bermuda shorts are permitted at lunch only, but not at the dinner meal period. So I had a member ask me recently, are we willing to change that and for members to come in the evening with shorts? And at this point, it was a no. So I would encourage everybody just to review this, or if you, and I don't really see that folks are coming in with Bermuda shorts in the evening, but it does happen from time to time. And I know our servers are giving them reminders. I know I get reminders from members. So if you happen to need a jacket, they're in the coat room down the hall here. There's a nice variety that if you want to choose from them, you can. But we'd also ask, that you have a lot of families coming in. And I know that can be difficult because they're really probably dressed for the beach, or they're dressed for vacation, right? So if you do plan on coming into the formal, that is going to be a little sticky. So we do have jackets for them if they need one. But if you have a group of family members that come in that might have more casual dress, then we may find an additional alternative seating area, such as the club room if you have a party, if you're not appropriately dressed for a specific area. Doesn't happen often, but from time to time, say it's dinner time, the whole group comes in shorts, because you're just getting back from a long day out, and of course in Calabogie, you're not gonna have shorts at dinner. We say, we're gonna seat you over here in the club room, and we'll get you dinner over there. Doesn't happen often, but sometimes it might happen. Management, this is out of the handbook management. So they ask non-compliant members or guests to make alternative arrangements. So that's what I was just indicating, that we're gonna ask, hey, we're gonna sit you over here in the club room. We'll get you dinner, but we're just not gonna sit you in the Calabogie.
Michael, one dining room isn't mentioned, and that's the private dining room. If you have a family gathering there, what is the proper dress code?
So I would, in the private dining room, well, we don't specifically have an address, so I would suggest that for dinner, no shorts, that you, at a minimum, follow the Calabogie room dress for dinner, which is gonna be just a nice casual.
Okay, thank you.
All right. If you have any questions on that, I'll be open for questions later. So I wanted to talk about the point of sale system. So you might have heard a little bit of buzz about this throughout the community from time to time. We've been talking about it on and off for quite a while. This is a pretty exciting change for us, and that's why I want to talk about it. So the other day, Nancy in accounting came to me and said, "Hey, I got to enter all the meal counts." So when she says that, she literally got to manually enter all the meal counts into the system. And the reason I bring that up is because our system, the way we currently have it set up, there's a lot of manual entry into our systems. So she manually enters all the drinks that come through into the system to be billed out. There's a lot of other manual entry that takes place. So with a point of sale system, which you may not recognize the name, but if you've been to restaurants out in the market, the general area here, the servers will come up and they'll have a little tablet or some type of handheld device taking your orders. That is part of a point of sale system. When you get your check, sometimes you can do it right at the table side. Swipe your credit card, that's considered a point of sale system. In the kitchen, when an order is placed, it actually is, the server pushes all those buttons. It actually electronically and digitally communicates that to the kitchen. There's a printer in the kitchen, and all that comes through right to the cook, right there. So there's not a manual ticket that's written down and taken into the kitchen, similar to what we do now. So the point of sale will take all those manual pieces that we currently do, push them to the side, and everything will become more or less digitally input. So there's a lot of value, a lot of efficiencies that we're going to gain, and then we can talk a little bit about those right now. So for the restaurant operations, it's really intended and meant to streamline our efficiencies in the restaurant. So picture this: you go up to the bar, Richard's there, and you want a gin and tonic. Richard is going to pour you gin and tonic, and instead of looking up your name on the piece of paper, and he's pretty good at it, he knows where everybody is, he's been doing it a while, he's now going to go over to the point of sale system and say, "Michael, one gin and tonic." He's going to look up my member number or account, probably under my last name, and then push one gin and tonic, and it's going to charge the account. A little bit different for Richard. It's going to be a big change for Richard, right? It's going to be a big change for all of us, but I have faith in him. I work with him. I was guest bartender. So the server comes up. Mr. O'Sullivan, good evening. This evening we have a nice dinner special, and then of course you have the menu. What would you like for your appetizer? And you say, "Well, I'm going to have the cream of crab soup. I'm going to have the chicken breast and no sauce. Hold the vegetables, extra potato. Come back later for dessert. I'm not sure." So, and then the server just go around the table, take everybody's order, and she'll hit send, boom, to the kitchen. So the server's not then running to the kitchen to drop an order. But generally what happens is the server will take your table's order, and then he'll go over and take your order, and they'll go over and take your order. And now all of a sudden they got 3 tickets, because they don't want to go back and forth. They got 3 tickets for 3 tables. They run back to the kitchen and they drop all 3 tickets. So, and then you got another server doing the same, and then all of a sudden the kitchen's got 6 tickets at the same time. So that sort of jams it. Even with the reservation system, that sort of backs them up. So now they're scurrying to get the tables out. But the other part of that is on the back end. Now the server dropped 3 tickets all at the same time. Guess what? The food is generally going to come up all at the same time. So now the server's got to scurry to try and get all the food back out, which is impossible at the same time. So it really just creates some some challenges in terms of how that flows. So better order accuracy, more efficient service is certainly some benefits. Inventory tracking for the chef, for the bar, we can track inventory better. Chef will, all the orders will download into the system, and then he'll be able to see what he has on hand, particularly at the end of the month, and then he'll know what to order. He'll have a better idea in terms of, hey, you know, I ordered 40 pounds of filet mignon. I used 40 pounds, but I only served this many orders. He says, we gotta do a better job at portion control. They should be 8-ounce fillets, not 10-ounce fillets, or something like that. He can tell all these things, so it helps him. Labor management, the accounting piece, I talked a little bit about, but certainly from the accounting operation, when you can go into the end of the month and say, I wanna roll up all our numbers so we can get the bills out, they'll be able to consolidate all that information, they'll be able to roll up all that information, they'll be able to push some buttons, to be able to print the bills and get them out without all that manual input. So, and then it should theoretically decrease errors. Not to say that we're not gonna have an error, that Richard might punch in 2 gin and tonics instead of 1, or he might have charged Mr. Perryman instead of me, that could happen. Or might charge somebody for a double instead of, but anyway, it should improve efficiencies. And then down the road, once we get this system implemented into the restaurant, beyond that, there's going to be an online ordering and reservation system that we can tie into with the same system. I'm going to show you a little bit about the online ordering or making a reservation. I have a little bit of a demo to show you. Ultimately, ideally, and I have seen these in operation for many, many years, that you will see increased accuracy with this. So for us, it's pretty exciting. For you, it's going to be pretty exciting. This is a little bit more just in detail in terms of what I just shared, but the other component of this is that the reservations, the ordering in the kitchen, you're not really going to be, you're just going to see it happen. But on the back end, you're going to be able to tie into your account. So you can see how many drinks Richard charged you for the night before, or how many guests that you had. You're going to see how it's adding up onto your account. So that's going to be one of the benefits for you. You're going to be able to go in and eventually make your own reservations, which is going to be really nice. Say you want to do something at 10 o'clock at night because you've been busy all day and say, oh, I got some family coming in at the end of the week, I want to make some reservations, you can do it in your timing. And then, like I mentioned, there's some add-on features, which is going to be the online and reservation system, which is going to be really nice. So, reservation systems. So this is sort of how we do it now. If you ask one of the concierge or you go into their computer, they have a spreadsheet similar to this, not exactly like this, but they have something similar to this. So on any given day, you're going to have a spreadsheet with the Calabogie and a spreadsheet with the Magnolia, and it's going to have all your time frames. And as you call in, we're going to put the party, how many folks are in your dinner party, your name, and the time that you select, and then they'll just sort of go through that cadence, and then that information is given to the dining room. But it's not smooth. It's sort of a lot of manual input. Doesn't always get those last minute reservations over to the dining room quick enough. So eventually this is going to go away, which is once again a lot of manual input. We're going to go into a different system. So this is sort of an example of what it might look like on the right-hand side for you. And I'm going to go into a little demo in just a bit. But once we get to the reservation piece, and this point of sale is going to be phased in with the restaurant piece first for the Calabogie and the Magnolia. Then we're going to get into the reservation system, and then we're going to get into the online ordering. So it's not going to be all at once. But once we get into the reservation system, you're going to see something like this. So you can see on here, not only is it reservations for the dining room, but if Joy has an excursion going out, you're going to be able to make a reservation for the excursion. If you need a massage and you need to have an appointment for a massage, you can actually put that in as well. So it's not just for the dining room. So this is just some feedback that we've gotten from some of our other communities, from residents that just pulled up on the screen. We love full count reservations features. We use it every day for the meal. It really helps us know the name and number of residents and guests dining with us. So benefit to you all. Or make it super convenient for the dining managers to know where to assign staff. So this is more from a staffing standpoint. As reservations are coming in, we can build what we call the station size for the servers. And ideally, we don't want to have too many folks, too many tables per server at any given time, because then that slows up service. So this helps us with the station size, and as those reservations are coming in, we can build those stations so you get seamless service. Now, once we get to the online option, take a look at this. It's going to be very flexible and convenient for you. So this is sort of what it's going to look like on the right. It's not specifically tailored to our facility yet, but it's going to look something similar to this. It's going to have some of the food images in there. It's going to be user-friendly, very user-friendly, intuitive. The menu is going to pull from the same database as the POS system, so that point of sale system, everything sort of, that's the hub. It's going to be very clear for you what you're ordering. It's going to have an opportunity to modify. Chicken breast, hold the sauce, or extra cocktail sauce, those kind of things. And it could be used, we're not there yet, for maintenance requests, but we're not quite there yet. Would you like to see a little bit?
Yeah. Michael, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
What you just showed, as far as ordering your meals through that, is that pick up meals or ordering for your dinner in the dining room?
That's for takeout.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so what I would like to say about this demo here is it's not everything is specifically tailored for Tide Point. So there's communities, this full count system is out in many communities. So, and this demo is recognizing one of the communities where they might have some type of balance that they pull down from. And that's why you see under the dining credit, there's a remaining dollar balance there. So we're not using that feature. So we're going to go into the reservation piece. And let's take a look at making a reservation. So if you were in there and wanted to make a reservation, you have a couple options. You know, up here at the top, you'd have your information, which would identify who you are and your specific account. You wanted to make orders, or in this case, reservations. So you would go into there and you say, okay, I want to make a reservation. This is what I currently have in the reservation system. So you would see this and we would see this. So from a planning standpoint, this really helps us because we know who's coming, when they're coming, similar to what we do now. But we also realize that this is going to fluctuate up and down as folks, make plans or change plans. Oops. Okay. So then if you wanted to make a reservation, you would go into that bucket there, I want to make a reservation. And I want to make a dinner reservation. And it would pull up this information here. You put in your date, how many in your party, what members are going to be dining, any guests that you have coming, and your time and any special requests. For example, it's Joy's birthday tonight. We're going to bring a little cake to celebrate or something like that. So you can sort of let us know what's happening. Why this is important is, why we want community members in is because if I'm making a reservation and I invite Joy, she says, yeah, I'm gonna come and have dinner with you. But then Joy goes in and says, oh, I'm gonna make a reservation for dinner, and she tries to make it at the same time that she's already with my party. She's gonna say, hey, wait a minute, you're already with one party, how much are you gonna eat tonight? So anyway, that's one of the reasons that it'll pick up on that, so you can't double book, which is a nice feature. But anyway, you would just sort of go through the whole process here and do a reservation. That can work pretty easily, right? So you got the grandkids coming in from out of town, you're within that 2-week window. Hey, we're gonna have Sunday brunch in 2 weeks. When you're down, what time you wanna come in? Okay, I'm gonna put in a reservation. Go, you're set. So, I don't know why this is going on, but anyway, so that's the reservation. And let's just take a peek. I know the online ordering piece is a little bit further out. But let's say we wanted to do an online order, we're there. Let's put in an order. So it looks something like this. We might have the Calabogie, you might have something going on in the Sunset Lounge or even the formal dining room. So it would pop up something similar to this with a picture. We go into the specific area, and it would pull up this information here. You're going to do delivery. And then it would sort of walk you through what you're going to get. So you pick a delivery time. You click on the time spot. You might say, I'm going to have that. It's at 5:40 tonight. And if there's going to be, I'm sure once we get into this area, there's going to be some qualifiers on here, because as you can see, we don't deliver, through the whole dinner meal period unless we change up our entire staffing model. So, which would be really, we can do it, but I don't know if we would want to do it. So anyway.
Is it plugged in?
Right, so it's a nice tool. So this is coming, pretty exciting. We're going to start with the initial rollout in the dining rooms. The servers will use it, the accounting team will use it, the kitchen will use it. Once we get that under our belt, and there's going to be a large learning curve, pretty big learning curve, not only for the staff and those departments, but also for you all. There's going to be some training for you all in terms of how this is going to work. So we will get that in front of you as well, so that we're all feeling good about where we are. There's probably going to be a hiccup or two along the way as we get into it, but this is the direction we're heading. Okay. So last month I shared with you that we're going through a therapy transition in the care center, and Select Rehab, who's been with us for a while, is no longer going to be our therapy provider. Actually, the last day is going to be on the 31st of this month. So we're moving forward with another company called Aegis Therapy, and they've since hired a manager for that department. They're now hiring employees for that department. Some of those employees that currently work with Select Rehab are going to be hired by the new company Aegis, so you might see some familiar faces. Ideally, that's what we'd like to do if they want to stay on with the new company, so we can have some continuity. Aegis starts on the 1st of August, and it's for you, if anybody's using therapy services Part B, we're trying to make it as seamless as possible. But that first day of overlap, which is going to be August 1st, there's a transition of medical records that take place. So AGIS is bringing in additional resources to help with that transition. But from a therapy standpoint, it should be seamless to you. So that is our goal. That is their commitment. I'm just sharing with you because you might see some new faces coming in. But you should still be getting the same therapy services that you were getting prior to this transition. So that's coming. I'm going to also send a letter out, so you all have that letter as a reminder. And that's going to be out by the end of the week. Probably impacts the care center more than independent living, but we do have some folks over here that go for Part B services. So just a couple reminders that on August 8th, we're going to have Mingle with Mike. And that's going to be right here in the club room. And then 2 weeks later, on the 22nd, we're going to have our August town hall meeting, which is going to be right in here as well. And with that, I'm going to see if anybody has any questions.
Yes.
Michael?
I got one up front. Hold on. Yeah.
The point of sale system is it is extensively in use elsewhere. The point of sale system, as I understand, is widely used in other B communities. Has it been debunked to all their satisfaction?
I like that. Did you say debugged? Yeah. So it is in use. Actually, all of the other 9 communities have had a point of sale system for years. They are now converting to this new system, Full Count. And your board chair, Mr. Perryman, reached out to the board chair in Naples, Florida to get some information to see how that transition was going. And the feedback that he received from that chair board in that community was very positive. It was a great tool, very similar to what they had. The transition was seamless. So far, so good. I think for us, it's going to be a little different. The big difference for us is we don't have a system. So we got to implement a whole system. It's not a conversion of an older system. So there's a learning curve with us. But we'll get it. We'll get it.
Michael, a question about your currently, when you call concierge and say, we'd like a reservation at 6 o'clock, and she'll say, no, we only have 5:45 or 6:15. When you go into this new system and ask for 6 o'clock, is it going to know that 6 o'clock's already filled up?
Yeah, it will know.
What's available?
It will know. It's very intuitive, so we can put parameters in. So we only want 20 people at each 15-minute increment. We can block it out so that more than 20 can book at that time.
Good luck.
Most of us have iPhones or iPads or computers that do that. What happens to people who never use any electronic things?
Yeah, we're gonna have an option for them. We're definitely gonna encourage the use of the system. We'll also have an option for folks. It might be a smaller window, call between this time if you want a reservation, but we'll have an option for them.
Will the concierge have the option to take our menu? Yeah, will the concierge have an option to take our, say we want to pick up our food, or do we have to use the device?
We're gonna have an option for you. It might be different. As an example, you'll be able to place an order online, but there might be menus available where you can actually grab the menu. We might have a week's worth of menus available if you're to go, like the goes, and you can actually circle what you want and drop it off at the restaurant. And that way they can input it into the point of sale system, like the supervisor, so the order will spit out, and that'll be all behind the scene, but we're gonna have another option. You won't have to do everything yourself.
Right, that's what I
Yeah.
usually do. I actually put on a piece of paper what I want, make
Yeah.
it easier for them. But what if you decide you have to cancel, say, a reservation in the dining room? Is there a place that we would go back in? Say we do it in advance, we
Mhm.
make reservations for the entire week, and then we have change. So there's a place where we can say, cancel it,
Yeah, you can go, you'll be able to go in and cancel it.
back on the,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I just wanted to make a comment about the definition of dress for women in the formal dining room. Very often people scoff at the term casually elegant. But I looked it up and it's actually an acceptable definition that fine dining restaurants accept. And I'll give you an example. It would mean that you would take a casual dress item, such as a t-shirt, and you would make it elegant by perhaps sequins or some type of decoration. I don't mean a quotation that says, I'm the best grandma in the house, something like that on your t-shirt. It would have to be something well done so that it would look a step up from casual. So that's what the definition is, and it is an acceptable definition.
Right next to you.
And it's still acceptable for women to wear sandals in either dining room on a Sunday, isn't
If they're made elegant.
As long as they're elegant.
it? Yeah, I mean, not flip-flops, but, you know, not
Yes.
flip-flops, but
Yeah.
nice-looking sandals
Yes,
that we would wear to church maybe.
yeah. I'll take that from you.
Thank you, Michael. I have a question about the dining system. Occasionally we've gone in, I'm sorry, I have a question, Michael, about the current dining system and reservations. Once or twice we've gone in and we've said to Claude that, you know, we have reservations next door, and he cannot accept our reservation, and he says, I'm short-staffed. Now, I've never asked him. I don't know whether he's referencing the servers, the kitchen, both, or whatever. Can you elaborate, please?
No.
Short and sweet. Short and sweet.
I'm gonna let you hold that in case you got a rebuttal.
I said short and sweet.
So, so my messaging to my staff would be if you're short, or something's going on in that sort of along that vein with staffing, you know, for the member experience, we want to make that as seamless as possible. We don't need to be really sharing, you know, our challenges. So if we're short, then our supervisors should be aware. And then we should really be doing what we need to do as supervisors and leaders to be able to cover those gaps whenever possible. So I sort of cringe when I hear that, you know, we're short. And because in the hospitality industry, that's not in our vocabulary. Yeah.
It's interesting because in the case I just mentioned to you, invariably he'll refer us to the casual group.
Yeah.
But it's the same staff.
Yeah, I don't know the exact situation. It would be, if you give us a few minutes and have a seat, we'll get right with you. You know, without going into a lot of different reasons as to why that is. So that will be what I'll share with them. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. Okay, I think we're good.
Mention the
Thank you.
Olympics.
Oh, I gotta, you have something you want me to share? I have a lifestyle update that I'd like to share with y'all.
Just that the Olympics, the opening ceremony will be shown here in the ballroom. We're gonna have that on the big screen tomorrow at 2:30. I think most of you saw that in your time, but I just wanted to remind you. Oh, is it 1:30? Oh, I think I said 2:30 in the time, so we'll make sure it's on at 1:30. Okay, thank you, thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Stay dry, Dave.